From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang, and here are the news. On the top story, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led the demolition of more than 9.4 billion pesos worth of seized illegal drugs at a waste management plant in Capas, Tarlac, claiming he wanted to personally see the entire process from capture to destruction. Among the drugs destroyed were 1,304 kilograms of methamphetamine hydrochloride or shabu, worth 8.8 billion pesos, many of which were discovered floating in the waters near Zambales, Pangasinan, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, and Cagayan. The drugs were burned through thermal decomposition with temperatures reaching 700 degrees Celsius over 10 hours and then cooled for 12 hours to ensure complete disintegration.
Dahil kailangan tiyakin natin na yung mga nahuhuling drugs ay talagang sinisira at wala nang pag-asa na bumalik pa na maibenta pa, na makuha, ibang i-report. Alam naman natin kung ano yung mga ibang pangyayari na nakikita natin. Kaya that's why I'm here today, just to see how the system works, para very, very solid yung system natin from the capture and of the illegal drugs all the way until the destruction of the illegal drugs also. So ito pa, ngayon ko lang nakita ito. So I was very interested to see. This will be, the chamber's temperature will be raised to 700 degrees Celsius, which is hot enough to destroy all of the active elements within the drug. So I'm glad that the press is here para makita ninyo kung ano ba talaga ang sistema. I'm also happy that I was able to get the opportunity na makapunta rito para makita ko rin ang buong sistema from the capture all the way until its destruction.
Liquid shabu, marijuana, cocaine, ecstasy, toluene, lidocaine, and numerous expired medications were also destroyed as part of anti-drug operations. The destruction of the floating shabu, for which no suspects were detained, was permitted by a sworn certification in accordance with Dangerous Drugs Board standards. On Tuesday, President Marcos renewed his request for vigorous anti-drug operations aimed at both large-scale traffickers and street-level pushers, as well as firm instruction to ensure that seized drugs never return to the market.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. assured Filipino seafarers of his administration's commitment to strengthen maritime education and improve deployment conditions to ensure their long-term development. This as he hailed the country's maritime workforce as a global asset and national pride. President Marcos lauded the Filipino maritime workers' discipline, skill, and tireless dedication despite the demanding nature of their profession and work arrangement overseas. He reaffirmed the government's collective responsibility to uplift the Filipino seafarers' welfare, calling them a boon to the world and the Philippines. President Marcos said the Maritime Industry Authority, or Marina, will play a crucial role in ensuring that mariners are equipped, protected, and recognized as part of the nation's development. In a separate statement, the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, reaffirmed Manila's commitment to advancing safe and decent living conditions for all seafarers. The DFA also announced that the Philippines is set to host the International Conference on Seafarers' Human Rights, Safety, and Well-being. The Philippines is one of the world's largest suppliers of seafarers. There are around 504,000 Filipino seafarers deployed in 2024 according to the data from the Department of Migrant Workers. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas recorded 6,941 or rather 6,941,085 US dollars remittances from the sea-based sector in 2024. The global maritime community, led by the International Maritime Organization or IMO, celebrates the annual Day of Seafarer every June 25th. This year, the IMO launched the campaign My Harassment-Free Ship, an initiative that aims to promote a culture of respect and zero tolerance for bullying and harassment at sea. As the leading source of seafarers and a strong advocate for human rights at sea, the DFA said the Philippines also supports the campaign. It said this call for action to build a maritime culture of respect and zero tolerance for bullying and harassment on board ships is timely as it is necessary.
Dateline Malacañang.
The government is monitoring the price gouging amid conflict in the Middle East. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said even though he assured that the tensions have no significant impact on the Philippine economy. In an interview in Tarlac, President Marcos said the effect of the Iran-Israel war should be manageable. While he acknowledged that the ongoing crisis in the oil-rich region may affect the prices of oil, President Marcos noted that crude oil prices fell to $69 from $79 following the announcement of ceasefire agreement between Iran and Israel. As if the government would still grant fuel subsidy for public utility drivers and other affected stakeholders despite the decline in oil prices, President Marcos said it would be unnecessary.
So far, there is no effect. There is no significant effect on the economy. Yun lamang, binabantayan natin ngayon yung price gouging. Dahil ang dami ko nang nakita, nagtataas ng presyo, hindi naman tumaas ang presyo ng langis. So yun ang babantayan natin ngayon. Kung hindi nagbago yung presyo, then we do the same like before. Ang sinasabi namin, hindi ayuda, subsidy, pag tumaas ang presyo. Kung di tumaas ang presyo ng langis, then there's no need for that. We can proceed, we can do business as usual. The price of oil has not gone up. So we do not need to talk about the subsidy yet. The price of oil has not gone up. It went up for one day, then it came back down.
President Marcos held a meeting with select cabinet members, including the country's economic managers, to discuss concrete measures that would protect affected Filipinos from the effects of the ongoing tensions between Iran and Israel. The provision of fuel subsidies, cash aid, and government support to keep prices of commodities and transportation fares affordable while maintaining economic stability were among the plans discussed during the meeting.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine government welcomed home the first batch of repatriated overseas Filipino workers or OFWs from the Middle East with a comprehensive package of assistance including rescue and transport as well as medical, financial, and reintegration support. Among the 31 OFWs who arrived was Arman Naz, a hotel worker from Tel Aviv, Israel, who opted for repatriation after enduring days of missile attacks by Iran and fear for his life. Naz recalled that when sirens started and bombs were falling, they all rushed to shelters, afraid and trembling, not knowing what would happen next. And that was when he decided he had to go home. Also included in the repatriated OFWs were a pregnant woman, a cancer patient, and another sick elderly OFW. They are now being taken care of by the Department of Health or DOH. Naz said that, like him, many other OFWs in Israel also want to come home but are apprehensive about leaving their work and going back to the Philippines. He said he still wants to work abroad in the future but not in Israel anymore. The repatriation was carried out through a whole-of-government effort directed by Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., mobilizing the DMW, OWA, the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA, the Department of Health or DOH, and the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD, and the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA. Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak, who personally led the repatriation mission, said that together with the Philippine embassy officials in Jordan, they met the repatriates at the Israel-Jordan border crossing, overseeing their safe passage to Jordan, including the processing of documents both on the Israel and Jordanian side before flying them home. However, as soon as they boarded another plane in Doha after their layover, the group got briefly stranded due to a sudden airspace closure but returned safely to Manila with the assistance of the Philippine Embassy in Qatar. Secretary Kakdak said, "The whole repatriation process done by the Philippine government is not just a flight home but a full support mission for the country's modern-day heroes, the OFWs. Upon arrival in Manila, the OFWs received 150,000 pesos each in financial assistance from the DMW's Action Fund and OWA's Emergency Response Fund or ERF. The DSWD through Undersecretary Monina Josefina Romualdez said another 10,000 pesos in immediate financial aid would be given to the OFWs. The DOH meanwhile conducted medical assessment and treatment including psychosocial support for trauma survivors. Health Secretary Teodoro Herbosa committed to giving further free health services to the repatriates. Secretary Herbosa said he came to the airport with a team from National Center for Mental Health who are specialists in post-traumatic stress since the OFWs came from a country under a state of war. Meanwhile, he also committed to providing psychosocial support through telemedicine via Zoom to the remaining Filipinos in Tel Aviv. Each OFW repatriate also received skills training vouchers from TESDA to support re-employment or livelihood opportunities. OWA Administrator Patricia Yvonne Kaunan said that as of Tuesday, 311 OFWs in Israel have so far expressed intent to be repatriated. A second batch of 50 OFWs is scheduled to arrive on June 26 or 27, with another 20 currently being processed. Government shelters and hotlines in Israel remain operational with over 50 OFWs already housed safely after displacement caused by the ongoing conflict. Meanwhile, Kaunan reported that after a heavy attack at Beersheba in Israel on Tuesday, an OFW was rescued from the rubble after she was trapped in a bomb shelter. She, however, assured that the OFW did not suffer any serious injury and is now being taken care of. Secretary Kakdak said he is headed to Bahrain on Wednesday to check on the OFWs there and discuss possible contingency measures with the Bahrain government.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, advises the public to be cautious of unscrupulous individuals, pausing as employees of the department to solicit money, offer fake employment opportunities, or lure unsuspecting persons to online scamming. In a Facebook post, the DMW advises the public that these two individuals are not affiliated with the department and not authorized to engage in the Overseas Employment Program. The DMW also reiterates that it does not solicit money or provide unauthorized services like loan offers through unofficial channels. The agency urges the public to verify information only through the department's official platforms. The public, especially the OFWs and their families, are encouraged to exercise extreme caution by not sharing any personal and banking information with unverified individuals or entities that seem too good to be true deals, such as offering easy money or loans requiring advance fees. For immediate assistance or urgent concern, please reach out to our DMW Public Information Assistance Center hotline numbers 0287221144 and 0287221155.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Government Service Insurance System or GSIS has made a total of 413.4 billion pesos in loans available to over 1.9 million authorized applicants through its flagship Ginhawa Flex and Ginhawa Light lending programs. GSIS President and General Manager June Arnulfo Veloso announced this during Wednesday's stakeholders dialogue. The Ginhawa Flex multi-purpose loan, which was launched in September 2023, had disbursed 401.19 billion pesos to 1,437,060 members as of June 23, 2025. Borrowers can borrow up to 5 million pesos or 14 times their monthly earnings. The loan can be paid back in up to 15 years depending on the premiums paid. Meanwhile, the Ginhawa Life Program, which addresses lesser emergency needs, has distributed 12.247 billion pesos to 408,656 participants since its inception in October 2024. Loan amounts range from 5,000 pesos to 50,000 pesos with interest rates of 6 to 7% and durations of 6 to 24 months. Veloso also emphasized the simplified Ginhawa Max loan buyout process, which now simply requires a letter of intent from the agency's head. It provides loans up to 5 billion pesos or 19 times the monthly salary with no service fees and repayment terms of up to 10 years. GSIS housing initiatives have supplied homes to approximately 4,000 families through the Lease with Option to Buy program, and nearly 2,000 borrowers have retained their homes through the Housing Accounts Remedial and Condonation program. In addition, the government enhanced its insurance coverage to safeguard over 130,000 public school facilities, according to Veloso. JSIS is developing a policy that will allow members with multi-purpose or MPL Flex loans to also receive MPL Max benefits. As part of its commitment to sustainability, JSIS acknowledged agencies that paid past due social insurance premiums dating back to 2007. The top payers in the major agency category were the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, the Supreme Court, and the DepEd Taguig Pateros Elementary. Medium-sized agencies recognized include the Development Bank of the Philippines Main Office, Pag-ibig Fund Main Office, and the University of the Philippines, Manila. The Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority, DepEd Division of Pasay High School Level, DepEd Division of Muntinlupa High School Level, and Basis Conversion and Development Authority were all honored in the small agency category by GSIS.
Dateline Malacañang.
Finally, for Dateline Malacañang, more opportunities will be available to children in the care of the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD centers and residential care facilities or CRCFs following a groundbreaking partnership with IBM Philippines. On Wednesday, DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian and IBPM Philippine President and Country General Manager Eileen Hudan Jiao signed the Memorandum of Cooperation at the Marilac Hills National Training School for Girls or NTSG in Alabang, Muntinlupa City. Under the Skills Build system, IBM will give digital technology-based training to selected children from DSWD-managed CRCFs, beginning with the NTSG, which serves underage girls who have experienced sexual abuse, human trafficking, or are in dispute with the law. Through IBM's free online short courses, the Alliance hopes to help CRCF clients gain confidence, competence, and a brighter future, particularly those who are about to achieve the legal age and will soon be ready for independent living. According to Gatchalian, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is deeply committed to bringing newfound hope to Filipinos in need, particularly the poor, disadvantaged, and marginalized.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that is all for today's Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Bea Gaza-de Guzman.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.